you for watching Truth and Justice with Vivian King. I'm excited that we're doing part 3 of the Tracie Brown story, from police officer to prisoner and now out to purpose. I have Danny Sneed with me in the audience tonight. That'll be my co-host. You all know Danny, and his smile is his style. And then, of course, we have Miss Tracie Brown. So I'm going to try to do a little recap of the stories that we have. And if you want to see part 1 and part 2, they're both on YouTube. Truth and Justice with Vivian King. You can look up Tracie Brown. Truth and Justice with Vivian King is Tracie, Tracie Brown, and you can hear her story. So Tracie, thank you for coming back to part 3 of your story, documenting your great story that I hope is one day a documentary of some sort. So hopefully we can help you memorialize it. So so you're from Memphis, correct?
Yes ma'am.
Okay, so you came in from Memphis, kind of had a tough childhood, that had a mother that had some substance abuse, some things that a lot of people have gone through. And so you were raised by your grandmother, and your grandmother was a little rough on you, a little abusive. Maybe she was angry, but to get out of that situation, basketball saved you, right?
Yes, ma'am.
In basketball, you ended up going to Lamar College.
I went to Texas Southern first for 2 years, and then to Lamar University.
Okay, Texas Southern and Lamar. That's how you got to Texas?
That's how I got to Texas.
On your basketball scholarship.
Yes.
And then of all the jobs you could have, you didn't want to be a police officer, but then you had that unfortunate situation of a near rape experience with a burglar breaking through your window, and you were having to fight off a rapist. Is that correct?
That's
and
correct.
so then that epiphany made you say, hey, I better be a police officer to help people that are distraught like you.
Exactly.
But that policing experience was not a good experience for you.
No.
It was not good in many, many ways.
Many ways, yes.
Like, it started off because you weren't a part of that police culture, with you seeing atrocities and wrongs that you didn't understand and that you thought you were supposed to speak up to and then speak up for, and the culture told you, no.
That's right.
Stand down or you'll get fired. Very shocking, I'm sure.
Or we will show you.
Very, very shocking. And then try to help girls like you as a police officer.
Yes.
You used your income to then create basketball camps for girls since you're 5'10", and you were baskall, and basketball saved you, educated you.
Yes.
You helped girls get scholarships. You helped
young men too.
Young girls and boys, young men and young women with basketball scholarships. And then after Katrina, the Urban League knew about your good work and offered to let you participate in a grant that they got from the federal government to continue to help kids.
Yes.
You did the paperwork the way you thought it should be done, the way they told you
the
to.
first time, yes.
And then from there, they said, nope, this was wrong, fix it. But a lot of those kids were in those 2-week camps and gone, and you couldn't update it.
Yeah.
So from there, you hired someone to help you, and her husband said that you were doing some type of scam.
Exactly.
And to make a long story short, it ended up landing you in prison, in court.
Yeah, and get me indicted,
Got you indicted, led you to court.
Yes.
Where you had a trial that we've all gone over, and then you ended up going to prison. How long was your prison sentence?
I got 15 years for the theft and 16 years for an attempted theft.
So 15 years for theft, and then how much?
16 years for an attempted theft.
And may I add, this is a police officer with no criminal history.
Never been in trouble day in my life.
Wow.
And I'm not going to even make it about me, how I got probation for my first.
Aggravated robbery.
No, I didn't go that far.
It wasn't it was just a robbery.
No, I started off low level burglary.
Low leveling.
Low
leveling.
Burglary of a habitation is low to you, but it ain't low to the person whose house got broken into. If I go home and my house is broken into, I'm gonna be devastated and scared to stay in my house.
Go back in time,
even though that I have great neighbors and a great brother next door.
If I could go back in time, I'd give them people all their stuff back. A big pregnant TV I had to carry out the back door.
My goodness.
That TV was heavy.
What? Oh, wow.
You would give them all their stuff back.
I would. I would.
TV back.
I sure would.
And although he's making a joke out of it, Danny has repented better than anybody I've ever known and seen, and paid back as many debts as he has done the repentance that his redemption, but it doesn't excuse the
bad behavior.
The bad behavior that he did 15 years in prison for. So He paid his debt to society. But back to you, Tracie. So
Yes.
Tracie, tell me how you felt the day that you were sentenced in trial. I mean, as a police officer, I mean, how did you feel?
Well, a day before that, there was a video shown of me when I first met the DA, and I didn't know I was being recorded.
Oh my God.
And so I went to see the DA with my uniform on, and she was sitting like you guys were, and she had boxes on the table, and then she was like, you know, you're doing these basketball camps, and I'm like, yes, ma'am, and I'm trying to find the numbers of everybody, and then all of a sudden it dawned on me, I'm in trouble. And so then she started just coming at me, and then I got angry, and then I went back at her, and I said, because she asked me, I know a guy named Reginald Johnson, and I said, I'm thinking, I don't know if you remember the cop Reginald Johnson that was murdered back in the day. He had a guy in the back seat and the guy shot him. But that Reginald Johnson, I'm thinking, but you talking about him because he dead. So I'm like, no, I don't know this guy. I don't know Reginald Johnson. Yes, you do, because your paperwork was with his paperwork. We got all y'all paperwork together. I'm like, I don't know Reginald Johnson. So then I snapped and I said, you have me down here for basketball camps? You mean to tell me you got me down here for helping kids? And this is what I said. Somebody had to help my black ass. That tape was shown at the end of the at the 10-day of a theft and attempted theft trial on the 10th day, and the judge saw it first, and then the jury wasn't there, and so I was like, because I said on the tape, I think I need an attorney. So I'm not knowing that I'm being charged with a crime. So that's the next thing that's come out of my mouth, because it's starting to come to me. This is bigger than what I think it is, and so the judge explained to my attorney and the DA. He said, "Hey, you come in with a law that shows why I can show this video to the jury," and told my attorney, "You come in with a law in the morning and show why I shouldn't show the tape." My attorney came in the next day on the 11th day of the trial, and first of all, she closed the trial out. Then she reopened it. She said, "I'd like to reopen the case."
And when you say she, that's the prosecutor.
The prosecutor. She said, "I would like to reopen."
So let me just say this. In a trial, the prosecutor shows all their evidence to prove someone's guilt, and then they close. At that point, the defense attorney can show any defensive witnesses that they have, call them in to prove the person's innocence or to prove why you should not believe the state's witnesses or the prosecutor's witnesses. So then the defense closes. And then from there, the prosecutor can rebut if the defense brought any witnesses, and the trial should then go to the jury. But there are circumstances in which the defense might not have anybody, and the state, and it's time to go to closing arguments, and then the state has to ask the judge to reopen the case so that they can present additional evidence. So it sounds like that's what you're describing.
Exactly. And I never heard on all the shows I watch. You know, I'm a big Law and Order fan. Thank you, SUV. That's my show. I never saw that on this show. So when she did it, it was like, you can open the case back up. So this is good, information that people need to know. And so the next morning they came in, and he stated that I'm going to repeat the same law I did yesterday. And I'm sitting there like, I know you did not show up this morning, and that's what you said. And the judge said she can show the tape. Came back with the same thing yesterday. So jury comes in.
What was this? So you're saying that your lawyer's
did not come in with a law.
He did not come in with a law to show. But when you ask for a lawyer, from that point on, that part can't be shown.
Okay, so what they said was, I said, I think I need a lawyer. That's why
That's enough.
Okay, well, I'm telling you right now, the judge let it go forward.
It's a practice of law, but I'm just telling you that I've had, defending someone in federal court, I had the same thing, where the client said, and we had a hearing outside the presence of the jury, and the person said, I thought my lawyer was going to be here. And the police officer said, or the FBI, DEA agent said, no, your lawyer is in trial over in state court. Your lawyer said we had permission to talk to you. He said, but I thought my lawyer was going to be here. So the person didn't know what to do, so they went ahead and talked, gave the whole interview, and a federal judge threw it out.
Oh my
because
goodness.
he said, I thought my lawyer was going to be here. I mean, that's
what I was
a DEA agent can't speak for the lawyer.
Exactly.
And it was an interview that was supposed to be set up with the lawyer there. So it should have been reset and scheduled until the lawyer could be present or whatever. Yeah. So it was thrown out, and it was very important. It was my first federal trial, and from there I did win that trial.
Wow.
But anyway, it was a big one. So
well, that's what I said.
And so, but I'm just saying that you can be tentative about it, but if you say, I think I need a lawyer, that's enough. I mean, no you have to do it the way people will talk. I mean, people talk like, I think I need something. That means they think they need it. I mean, what does I think mean? I think I need it. It doesn't mean that I think I don't.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's just a matter of interpretation.
Yeah. And I said that on the video. I said that on the tape. And he brought that up. That was his argument. I think that was Jonathan's argument. And he said, no, because she said,
but there is case law that says if you need a lawyer, you know, that's supposed to be stopped. But.
Okay. Well, it didn't get stopped. The video was shown, and the jury.
Well, some judges might not let any of it in, which the federal judge didn't let any of it in, and the one I'm talking about, and some judges might let it come in up until the point you ask for the lawyer, and then they cut it off. They don't let the jury hear, I want a lawyer. Just the conversation.
No.
And then snap the tape off and don't show anymore. Don't show that part. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Are those things appealable?
Of course. Yeah. Should have been appealed.
Yeah.
But we're not talking about the appeal right now.
Let's talk about this. Okay, so the jury was brought back in. The video was shown, and there's how the jury normally makes up, and there was a white lady in the front, and she had eye contact with me. You notice things.
And now you're talking about the juror.
The juror.
Okay.
And I could tell she was the whole time, she was like, you could tell her facial expression.
Her nonverbals.
Yeah, but once the video was shown, and I said somebody had to help my black ass, I looked at her. And she did this. She said, that's what she did to me. And he called a recess. I went to the restroom. I fell on the floor. My mama was with me. I fell on the floor, and I said, Mama, I'm going to prison for saying my black ass. That's exactly.
I'm missing something. Can you see how that ties into the case? Her saying that. Help me on that.
It's a nonverbal, understated, tribal thing. It's kind of like the OJ case. How some people, black people felt one way, whites felt another way. It's kind of like Black Lives Matter. Because when we say Black Lives Matter, we want to say that from all the things we see as black people getting beat up, our lives must not matter. So please recognize that our lives matter. But to some white people, that's offensive, like their lives doesn't matter. But they don't understand that your life matters too. It's just that we're not seeing white people get beat up. So we're just wondering why doesn't our life matter when you see all these people getting beat up by police unjustifiably? But they don't, and I think it's just an internal bias. It's like, where you're trying to say my life doesn't matter, that's not it at all. Your life is not the one getting beat up every day on videos. So I've had my white friends be offended by that comment. Black Lives Matter.
Is that like saying maybe?
But it's not to be offensive at all.
It's like saying the race card, maybe?
But what does that mean?
Meaning that when I said that.
White people will say the race card when they don't want to deal with the colonization of America and the slavery of black people. What is the race card? To call things what they are? Are we not supposed to call things what they are? So I don't even like the race card, because that's something that non-black people put on black people to feel guilty about calling it the way it is. It's like, this is the way society is, and y'all not supposed to say anything about it. Your feelings are not supposed to be hurt. We don't want to hear about your feelings. I mean, to me, it's a discount of people's feelings, which black people experience every day.
Can I ask Tracie, though, help me understand, when you saw the tape and you heard you say that, what made you see that this was going to affect your case by just those words? What do you think they were thinking when they heard that?
She portrayed me. She wanted people to dislike me. Like, she wanted me to look like I was somebody that was rogue, out of control, police. I would like to say that to people that are not in your community. And so I honestly, when I do say that to people, and I've said this 100,000 times, I always look at, especially if I'm in a crowd of people that are non-black, I always look at the black people face when I say that. I just looked at y'all faces, and you did not blink an eye. You did not. It didn't even move you. So she knew by showing that it would cause an emotion in somebody that's not in that community, doesn't understand.
A non-black person.
When we say that
react
stuff,
differently.
Yeah, y'all didn't react because I look at you. I look at everybody when I say.
We don't react. No,
we
don't react because we understand.
We understand, but
to somebody white, they're offended if you say black. They're offended.
Yeah, and she was, and it turned her whole face against me, and she knew the DA knew what she was doing.
Oh yeah, she knew, because she's a part of the community that doesn't listen to us or doesn't like
Exactly.
us, and
Yeah.
and sees everything we do as negative. So
Yeah. So that was what it was.
So
it was
create a
meant to do.
different perception of you than a police officer, someone that's protecting and serving.
Exactly.
If you say that kind of you lose credibility.
I lost
Right,
credibility.
right.
Okay.
And that's why I went to the bathroom and dropped on my knees and said that I'm going to
Yeah,
prison.
I mean, I remember when I first started in the banking in 1980, I had a white guy coworker that never been around black people before. He was a real nice guy. We all got along, and somehow time it said, I'm black, something. He said, stop saying black, stop saying black. I'm like, what's wrong with that? He said, that's negative. Saying black, calling yourself black is negative. Don't say that. That gives me a negative connotation. And I said, thank you. We're trying to all learn to work together. It's 1980. Blacks are in the professional environment, and we were in banking. I said, just think of it this way. Black means to me what white means to you, whatever that is. Just think of it that way. I'm not unhappy with being who I am and who God made me to be, just like you're not. So whatever connotations you've learned about or that you've perpetuated in your private circles, just remember when you listen to me and you hear that, just think I'm saying white for you, and so he can, okay, well, I'll try to process that, because we were all trying to learn to get along and to understand each other's position. But the natural inclination is, if you say because I say that to my non-white friends, if that was me, they'd throw my black ass in jail.
Okay.
I've said that
You say all the
before.
time.
I've said that, and I'm a lawyer.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm just saying, some of the things I see other lawyers get away with, or people get away with, a lawyer had done something really bad in court, like had sex with a defendant in a jury room. And everybody was talking about, I'm like, if my black ass done that, they'd have put me in jail.
Exactly.
And everybody knew it, and it was just no big deal because it was this particular lawyer that can get away with anything. So there are a lot of atrocities that happen. And so I've made that statement, but
but
I've been known to make that kind of statement, and I'm not on trial. Trial. It
Exactly.
just sounds like off-colored, and Vivian being a big mouth and aggressive or whatever. But
And so when we showed
and I'm
that
not aggressive at all. I'm just a big mouth. But.
Exactly. Me too. I like to have fun, but when she showed that, she portrayed me as not as a person that cares for the neighborhood, cares for people, and just for that lady that jury.
And you knew that, and you knew in your mind that when she did it, it was to stir a negative emotion.
I knew exactly what it was for.
Yeah, and we know that.
That's why I learned a lot about. I didn't even know about going to trial. That's 13 years as a cop. I knew nothing about
you were a cop
going
for
to
13
trial.
years?
Yes.
That's a long time.
Yeah, 13 years. And I didn't know all these tactics. And so I was just like a newbie going in, like an invoice going in. And
let me just tell you this, and that's why trial is an art.
It is.
A good lawyer has to have had a lot of trials to watch juries' reactions, to know because what a lawyer thinks somebody is concerned about is not really what everyday people, and you got to learn how to communicate with your audience. Wow, we have a phone call waiting. Certainly, go right ahead and ask any question you like.
Hey, good afternoon. My name is Greg, calling from Memphis, Tennessee.
All right.
As you know, what happened to our police officers in Memphis, and we have we're trying to get rid of the stigma of what happened to you versus what happened to them. And I want to know your thoughts of how we can not compare apples to oranges, because your case and their case might be different. But here in Memphis, we have put it all in a pot together. What can we do as citizens that believe that we shouldn't do that, or how can we do that, or how do you feel about that by them comparing?
I'm going to let Tracie answer that, since she's a police officer from Memphis.
Okay.
Former police officer.
Yeah.
from
So
Memphis.
can I ask you, how old are you?
I'm 64.
54. So do you remember?
Yeah.
You know where Carver High School is?
Yeah.
You remember Tracy Mosley that played basketball in the back?
Yeah.
That's who you talking to.
What? Wait a minute now. I went to Northside.
Thank you. And I think I put about 40 on y'all.
Put it on him, girl. She said she put 40 on you.
Yeah.
Go on, Tracy Mosley.
homie.
So try to answer his question so we can go on with her story.
Let's start right there. So let's start right there. Come on.
I'm from Hyde Park.
There you go. So here's the thing. You do have to look at every case different. My case is not an excessive force case, and I'm not on video killing anybody. And so my case is totally separate. So that's why I ask people to do in the community, not just me and the 5 officers. anytime you see a situation with a cop and it doesn't look favorable, judge that situation and not put us all into one pot. And that's what happens, is that you guys, especially in the black community, you take everybody, all police officers are the same, and we can't do that. You have to look at every situation different, and that's the way I things. Even like with George Floyd, when I was watching George Floyd, I was watching Derek Chauvin and Sneed on. Y'all was watching Derek Chauvin. You know what I was watching? I was watching the other 3 officers because I understood that one may have been on the job a day, one may have been on the job a week. These guys were rookies, and this was the lead police officer who could after this, if he hadn't killed George Floyd, if they had said anything to him, he could have got up and said, "Let's go." He could have took them back to the substation. They would have been fired because he was the lead. He's a senior officer, and so, not to say that I feel bad for them, but I understand what they were going through. So you have to separate everything, right? So when you're reading cases, read what happened. Don't just look and say, "Oh, yes, she did it." No. And don't take for everything you hear in the newspaper as the truth. The top of the 5 news report is true. You really have to get into the case and read it yourself. Because everything that I'm telling y'all, you would have never known if I'm not sitting here speaking today, if I hadn't lived through this situation. See, so
let me stop you there, Tracie. And this is what I want to see you caller. Thank you for calling in. But I agree with Tracie. Every case is different, and that's what we have to do as a community. We can't throw all people, all police officers, because most police officers are good.
Exactly.
The problem is the culture of partnering up and helping each other in the community might put some bad cops with good cops. And so people still have to work together somehow. And I don't know how that, to me, there needs to be like a hotline to like the FBI or to a federal agency. Police officers cannot police their own agency.
Exactly.
That's because everybody works together, and whether they like them or not like them, it's just like if you work at the railroad or you work at the post office, you got to deal with people that you might not like, that you might not agree with, but you don't want to get it to the point of violence. And police officers have a very dangerous job. People are shooting at them, people are on dope, they own drugs, they have that effort moment going on where they don't care about the consequences. And so police officers have a tough job. And so, but there are some bad ones that we have to weed out, just like there are bad postmen, firemen, lawyers,
workers,
everybody can be bad.
Yeah.
And so I think you have to take it on a case-by-case basis. And thank you for calling. We're going to get in because we want to know what Tracie did in the penitentiary area. So that's what we fix to talk about you next. Thank you for calling.
Keep watching.
Yeah, thank you, homie. So going back to that, so jury came back. They saw the tape. I went and cried, came back out. Then I had a private detective that was on his way to bring evidence of everybody's testimony before the DA interviewed them. He went and got everybody's testimony. He's on his way to court. He's not showing up. The judge said, "Tracie, do you know where?" I said, "No, sir, I don't know. Can y'all go find him?" We go outside, try to make a phone call to find him. My attorney said, "Tracie, the private investigator has been arrested." I said, "Arrested?" He was arrested coming to the court.
Wow.
Oh, and we want to talk about coincidences.
What's his name? What was your private detective?
I got to give it to you. I got to think.
You can't remember his name?
Yeah, but I had a private investigator find him when I came home from prison. And he told me, the guy called me and he said, "You went to prison for that?" He said, "Why didn't your attorneys call a recess and have me brought from over there?" He said, "I had all everybody's evidence, everybody's testimony."
He was probably shocked that you went to jail.
Yeah. But my attorneys didn't call the recess.
Do you think that it was something nefarious or something
What's his
illegal
charge?
about him charging?
He said he had a 7-year-old inspection sticker ticket that he hadn't paid. He was coming into the court to testify with me. So nobody called a recess, and then the judge say, "Let's go ahead on with the jury and see what they had to go back there and make a decision."
Wow.
Came back guilty, and as you asked me, what did I feel?
How did you feel when they said guilty?
I felt
before they got to the guilty and we went to the jury, did you think that the prosecutor made a compelling argument against you, and did you think the defense lawyer made a compelling argument for you?
I don't think so. I think here's the thing for me, and I don't know how other people think about it, but if it takes you 11 days to convict me of a theft and an attempted theft, 11 days, and like the deputy that was standing in the courtroom, he say murder trials get over with in 5 days. So what you were doing, you were bringing person after person to say that I had a conflict with about the money. Right. You were bringing person out that was mad at me to say something about me. And that's how the trial lasted so long.
How long did it deliberate?
It might have been if it was an hour, maybe an hour.
Wow.
But hold on.
Wow.
You a jury, you somewhere 11 days, you tired.
Right.
And that's what I heard him in the hallway saying. I heard one lady say, I'm not gonna miss my vacation. They're tired. And so that's people. Somebody knew that. They knew people had things. And one juror was complaining about his parking, had to pay for parking. So they could, hey, you got somebody.
11 days.
11 days, people
For a
tired.
trial like that, that's amazing.
It's amazing. And they didn't know I was standing. I heard them. And so also, one juror was walking in. And I have to say, I'm not gonna say the sergeant name for HPD, but was walking in back to the jury pool, and the sergeant was standing looking out the window with his hand in his pocket. And one of the jurors, a tall white guy, tapped him on the shoulder before he went into the courtroom. Before he went back in the jury room, and tapped him on the shoulder. And the sergeant turned around, and he said, just like that. And I told my attorneys that the juror.
They didn't bring that up to the judge?
Didn't bring it up to the judge at all. The juror touched the sergeant before he went to testify.
Wow.
I said, what is going on here? So anyway, to go back, we go back in, and they come back out, and I'm okay. So the attempted theft for 16 years, the paperwork that was inside the paperwork was this guy named Rodney Johnson. The DA people went down to the basement of Urban League and put the paperwork together, not the Urban League, and they put that paperwork together. And so that was the 16 years that I got. I've never met this man a day in my life. If he walks in here today, I don't know him. He don't know me. And what's so crazy about it is that the friends of mine at the gym I work out at, I was working out at this gym over here. It's the City of Houston gym. I can't think of the name of it. But anyway, Justin Robinson. I used to go there every morning to walk. And when I went to prison, that guy came into Justin Robinson, talked to some people that I know, told them the same thing when I came home. He said, yeah, you're right. He said, he don't know you. I said, that's what I've been trying to tell y'all.
What's his name, Robert Johnson?
His name is Rodney Johnson.
Rodney.
He was a boxer. He had boxing camps. This guy, we never, and the DA know that.
So did he get charged?
Yeah, he got charged. He was like 3 years in the county, and he went ahead, time served, they gave him 20, he had to, whatever. But yeah, this young man we don't know each other.
So he was under the same grant.
Yeah,
possibly.
yeah, me, it was
Except he was probably supposed to teach kids to box.
Yeah, he had a boxing camp, and my paperwork was inside his paperwork.
Right.
And we never met each other, don't know each other, anything. But
So he pled guilty and took 3 years.
I don't know if I think he paroled out of county because he had been sentenced.
But I mean, how did he get the sentence? Did he plead guilty in
I don't
trial?
remember. I don't remember.
Okay, well, let's get you to the penitentiary.
Okay. No, don't say it like that.
Don't get into that. Oh, it's 7:00, and we're halfway finished.
We're good. Then we're doing good.
We're doing
Okay.
good. Yeah,
So anyway, I get. Just wanted that.
Did you go to jail that day?
Yes.
I mean, they took you into custody
yeah.
that day. They didn't give you a chance to get your affairs in order.
No,
How old were your children then? Do you remember?
My youngest may have been. He might have been 3 or 4.
Oh, my
maybe
God.
4. And then my daughter, if he was 4, then she was 5 or 6.
Oh, yeah, I
and
forgot
then
they
my
out,
son, yeah, he may have been 9 years or 8 or 9 years old, and he was having a birthday that month. But to go back to
did they know that the jury knew you had children?
Yeah.
Did you testify?
Yeah, I came up after they convicted me. So they asked me to come.
But you didn't testify in the trial.
No,
and you should have.
That's why I told my attorneys I need to testify.
It was your decision.
Yeah,
and
he said
didn't
no. You don't need to say nothing. No.
No.
And
Well,
then,
why? I mean, that's like you guilty.
You're gonna get this mixed up. I said I know, but see, I was explaining. I can explain it. You are not explaining it. I would have to.
Well, he can't explain it.
He couldn't.
Because he's not a witness. I mean, you have to explain it.
But you hadn't taken our time to even do research for me. And I talked to another person that was a private investigator that they went to get this private investigator, and I have him on tape on another phone. I'm gonna have to get the tape of him explaining to me how irresponsible my attorneys were. He said they did a horrible job with me, and he said they didn't try to do any kind of investigation.
Who recommended them to you?
They did. They told me I should hire this guy.
Who did that?
My attorneys told me to hire this private investigator.
Okay.
And the private investigator has another guy that works for him that he sends out. So the guy who they went to that owns the office, he's the one that spoke to me when I came home. I called him and asked him what happened.
But you don't remember any names.
No, I'm gonna get it though.
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
So anyway, once and I want to get back to the question you asked me. How did I feel when the jury came back and said guilty? I literally, I don't know if you ever had an out-of-body experience. If you ever felt your body, your spirit leave your body and you looking at yourself, I literally was looking at myself. That's my spirit left my body because I'm thinking about my babies. And the DA got up and said she didn't care about her babies because if she did, she would have never done this. Just hateful. That is the most, you can win your case, lady, but you don't know me. You don't know how I feel about my children. And that, out of everything, that just, I wanted to just faint. I couldn't even, it seemed like everything just went blank. I couldn't even hear after that. I couldn't even hear. And so immediately, that was over with. He thanked the jury. I looked back at my mama, she was crying. My brother was telling me to be strong. My brother that I raised. And they take me to as I'm walking to the back, that's when the deputy says to me, they could have called a recess. Said, why your attorneys didn't call a recess to get your witness over here? I said, sir, I don't know. I didn't know. So as I'm walking out, we get on the elevator, and the judge and the clerk was getting on the elevator with me to take me down. They were going, leaving, and I guess I was going to, where they take you to strip you. And I said, Judge Mendoza, I say, sir, she just asked me to fix the paperwork. I said, that's all she asked me to do. I was just trying to do what the early asked me to do. That was it. He said, good luck, ma'am.
Yeah.
So,
well, the judge isn't allowed to talk to you about it.
I understand, but it was over with. It was over with.
That's all he could say.
Yeah.
Yeah, he couldn't.
But my thing for him is that you saw the issues. You could have been a better judge, right? So go downstairs. I'm just crying and shaking, and we go into the county part, and so as I'm going around, I see a deputy, and I don't remember her name, and she's a white sergeant, female sergeant, and I thank God for her. And she just grabbed my hands and she prayed with me.
Oh, that's sweet.
She prayed with me, and so I had to go back and she let me call my mama. I called my mama, and it was just difficult. That was a difficult call, but I just told her, take care of my babies, please.
What year was this?
This was in 2010.
Okay.
I just asked her to take care of my children, please. And so
she was living in Houston by then. Your mama was living there.
Yeah, she was. Yes, yeah.
Was getting herself together.
Well, she was together by then. It was everything was going. She was working and everything. And thank God for my mom.
Did she live with you at that time?
Yeah, my mom lived with me.
Okay, good.
Yes.
Okay.
And so went back and she prayed with me, and she made a way where I could be in a certain dorm because they wanted to put me in SEG. And SEG is difficult. If you've never been in segregation, it's a small cell and very small, and you can go crazy in there, and people in there are mentally ill most of the time. Yeah. They go crazy. So she said, no, we're going to try to do something. We're going to put you in the trustee dorm. And that's why I'm not calling her name and nothing like that, but she put me in the trustee dorm, and so nobody knew who I was that night. But anyway, I had to go get stripped, take all my clothes off. I'd never been...
Gross, yeah.
Yeah, never been had to just do that. And that was like, it was humiliating, and it was just... It's too much. But anyway, I got through it, went to the trustee.
So they stripped you down. It's humiliating. Don't you have to bend over and they look at your body and all that?
Yeah, it's ugly. It's an ugly situation. And you, if you've never been through it.
But you've done it to people as a jailer, hadn't
you?
No,
not like that.
Not like that.
Yeah, because I was just working where we just take your shoes off and go through your shoes, take your shoestrings out your shoes.
Okay, y'all were.
We didn't go that far. No, we ain't going that far. Yeah,
okay.
No, we never did that. And so that was like a shock to me because I didn't know that happened. And so I
What
managed.
was shocking about it? I mean, you do know as a police officer that people get strip searched, right?
Well, I never had to go through. I never had to tell people to take all their clothes off and squat and cough and turn over and spread your dick. I've never done that. I've never seen it done.
Cough.
I've never seen it done.
And that's to see if something's push out of your vaginal area?
No, that's a cavity search. That's what they call a cavity search.
Oh.
If you hide anything, they gonna check you.
We need to check you out.
Yeah.
That's nasty.
Yeah. Well, guess what? Don't go to jail. Anyway, don't go to jail.
That part.
I don't think anybody goes on purpose.
Yeah. Okay. So, and that's why I guess it's so important for cadets and people, police officers to know. I think this is an important story for them because before you think that you're going to get away with excessive force or things like that, these are the steps you're going to take. So I think you should be really thinking in your mind, do I really want to go through what this lady went through? Maybe somebody to tell you that before you pull the trigger, thinking I'm good. No, sir. No, ma'am, you're not. And so, but luckily I was put into the trustee dorm, which is a cold cell in the county, still cold, a thin blanket. Left everything stripped to me but an orange jumpsuit, and I go into the cell and I go upstairs. And I'm just up there crying and freezing. It's cold as heck, and I'm crying and I'm freezing and not understanding this whole thing. So the next morning I wake up, they put a newspaper in there, and I'm on the front page of the
Oh,
newspaper.
Lord have mercy.
I'm on the front page of the newspaper. And so the night before, I was downstairs talking to the other ladies in the day room and getting to know, everybody was just talking and stuff. And so I woke up and I go downstairs. And so as I'm going downstairs, another girl coming up the stairs, and she cuts her eye at me real funny. I'm speaking to her, and she didn't speak to me. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna worry about it. I go downstairs and sit, and so they slide the paper over to me. I said, oh.
Oh, so now they all know you're a former police officer because it's on the front page.
I said, oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
And so I'm sitting at a table with about 3 or 4 girls, and then the thin white girl said, hold on, but let me say this to you. She say, we just got through defending you. I said, what happened? She said that whatever the young lady that walked past me said she wanted to fight me, and she said she don't like cops. And she said, and
She gonna get you.
she gonna get me. So we sitting there and they said, but we stopped it and we told her you would not touch her. We need her in here. We need her.
But somebody should have told somebody should have told her you're not the one, no way.
Okay, let's get there. Let's get there. So I'm sitting at the table. They telling me the story about how they just got through defending me with this girl, and they telling her how she better not touch me and blah blah blah. So I said, okay. So I go upstairs. I'm sitting. I go back into my room, and I said, you tell her she can come see me whenever she get ready.
Oh, Lord, you ready to fight now. Oh, Lord, you mad? You
I know
ready
you're
to
not
fight?
the one. I already know you're not the
I'm
one.
not the one. And
Yeah,
so
you from Memphis. Yeah, you from, okay.
South
so
Memphis.
South Memphis.
Yeah,
So
I
that's
grew
a
up on the
different
rough side. Yeah,
That's the rough side.
Yeah, okay, like South Dallas, like South Park, like 3rd Ward. Let me
Okay.
give it to you like that. So she comes upstairs, sits down. I'm sitting on the bed like this, and she comes in and she sits
How did
down.
she get in your room?
The doors are open in the
It's
county.
jail.
It's jail.
I didn't know the doors were open.
Yeah,
You don't
Hell,
have a door.
you have a cell door and it just stays open.
Oh, I didn't know that. I thought they clanged them like on TV.
No.
I didn't know. I never been to jail.
it's
You know,
been-
when I see my clients, as you
No,
know,
you might
because you used to
wanna
go
tell you
with me, they're in a little
I'm
private.
shocked.
They're in a little private. How did I see my
Do you
clients?
watch Orange is Black?
No, I've never seen that before. I don't watch those make believe. I live real life. I don't
Oh.
do. I have never seen Orange is the New Black. No, I never.
Gotta
seen
get you
that.
some prison.
I don't watch all that bull
Netflix
porn.
prison show.
And she's not. It's people that's watching this that don't know that,
No,
right?
I don't watch that.
Yeah,
and you know,
and
when I
it's
see
true.
my clients, they come in a night in these little cell to talk to me. You know how it is in the attorney booth.
Okay.
You used to go with me to the attorney booth to visit my clients. So stop acting silly like that, like I know.
Yeah,
you know
we,
how I
we don't
saw.
have pillows. We don't have.
No.
This ain't your story. Come
Yeah.
on, Tracy.
So anyway, I'm sitting on the bunk bed, but we call it a bed, but it is nothing but a mattress, some kind of mattress they got. But anyway, she comes in and she sits down in right there in the front, and she said, "Can I talk to you?" I said, "Sure, you
That's
sure
the
can."
girl that wants to fight you?
Yeah.
Okay.
I said, "Yes, you sure can." She said, "I'm gonna be honest with you. I wanted to get with you because when I found out you was a cop, I hate cops. I can't stand cops." She said, "But everybody said you was cool, and so I'm just letting you know I'm gonna ride with that." I said, "You through?" I said, let me tell you what to ride with right now.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you
I
ready
said,
to get with her, huh?
I'm gonna say it right quick. Don't let the ex-cop fool you. Don't let the education fool you. I'm from Memphis, Tennessee. I will get with you. I said, please, I am the one. I said, I'm not backing down from nobody. So whenever you get ready, let's do it. Let's make it happen, because I'm not scared. I just told her I'm not scared. I'm from somewhere that I had to grow up fighting, and I'm still fighting, and whenever you get ready, I'm right here. I'm not scared. And so she was like, okay, well, everything is good. I said, yeah, it better be. It better be. And so, that set that off right there, because and I had that same attitude to walking through county, state jail,
Well, let's get
and
to the prison. Let's get to the prison. So then
Yeah.
you get transferred to the prison because we got
Yeah,
15
I
minutes
get
now.
transferred to the prison.
And tell me about
well, I
prison
got
life.
transferred to state jail. I got transferred to state jail first, and then I was there, and I was working in the kitchen, became a cook, and so I learned how to cook for 1,500 people, and so that was a great experience. And we started, I don't like people don't want to hear it, but I started a Bible study class. And we would do Bible study in the prison, the state jail. And so,
Was that in Dayton?
yeah, that was in Dayton. And so that was a great experience for me.
Was it open bay?
Yeah,
In a circle,
open
all
day
the bu-
room, open
yeah.
day room. And then I just pulled out my Bible and I just said, I'm not gonna get out of here without God. And so we did Bible study, and more people would join. And so I think I stayed there 2 weeks, and then they said I was pulling chain. That means you're leaving. They call your name to say, pack up, you're leaving. And so we was just crying. Everybody was crying. I was like, wow. And they were saying, why are they sending you to Mountain View? So I'm going to Mountain View.
Where is that?
Mountain View is a maximum security prison where the death row inmates are for women.
Wow.
And they were saying, you got a theft and you going to Mountain View?
Wow.
And so I'm on this journey. So I get sent to Mountain View, and they put me in SEG, in where the worst inmates are. Because first of all, when I got there, this is what they said to me. We don't know what you're doing here, why you here, but you're in the way. Have a seat right over there. We have nowhere to put you. I was told that twice. I was told that in state jail when I got there. In state jail, they told me, sit over here because we don't have nowhere to put you. I got a lady that got 60 aggravated. I got a lady with life. You are in the way. Have a seat. So they set me in the middle of the floor in a cell. I was just sitting in the middle of the in state jail right there. And so in another experience, like in state jail, I was in SEG again.
Now this is at Mountain View or where?
No, this is county. This is state jail. I was put in
Still
SEG.
at Dayton.
Yeah, I was put in SEG.
You said you were only there 2 weeks.
No, I was there. No, I went to 2 state jails. I went to the first one. What's that first state jail they send you to? Then you go to Dayton. There's another one. I can't think of the name of it, but it's another one. The
Is
first
it Gainesville or?
No, it's not them. We'll think of the name of it. But the first one I went to, I was there a little bit longer, and so I got a chance to meet. As I was there, somebody asked to be my roommate, and so the TDC guard came up and said, "Hey, there's somebody that needs a roommate," and we told her that you'd be the best person for her to be with. I'm like, what? They open up my cell door, and they say, this lady needs somebody, a little skinny white girl. And she said, hello, my name is Susan Wright.
I know that
That's
name.
Susan Wright. The one that drowned. That's not the one that drowned her babies, is it?
Susan Wright is the one who has a Lifetime story called Devil with Blue Eyes, the one who the DA said she got on top of her husband and she stabbed
him on the bed. Susan Wright. Yeah, I knew that name. Okay, it's supposed to stab him because he was abusing her, and that's the one Kelly Sigler did, and it got reversed.
Yes, exactly.
Because she dramatized something she never saw.
She never did that. And Susan Wright came in my cell, and she said,
And state jail.
State jail.
Now, why was she in state jail?
She was going back for her appeal to try to get it dismissed or get reduced sentence, and so she was coming back to get back to her hobby. So along the way, they keep them there until they can get you transferred back. And she asked them, she says, I don't want to be alone. Is anybody that y'all have? And they was like, we got the right person that you and they sent it to me, and it's like, hey. And when she came in, she was like, my name is Susan Wright. I was like, Susan Wright? Where did I know that?
I know that name.
Yeah. And so I said, oh my, I said, yeah. And so Susan and I became, we was 2 weeks together. Susan would get a lot of books, and she would give me a book, and I would have a book, and we both be reading Harlan Coben. She's the one that got me into reading books of those books, and Susan told me her whole story.
What's Harlan?
Harlan Coben. He's a writer. He's a writer. He writes mystery. He writes books of Harlan Coben.
I never heard of him.
Yeah, you'll love his books if you read his books. I mean,
Harlan, Harlan, Coleman, Colman.
Coben. Coben. C-O-B-E-N. Yeah. I'm going to get you a book.
It's probably C-O-B-I-N.
Yeah, and very good books. And so, a lot of people sending her mail and things still. And so we talked. And so that was 2 weeks, and Susan gave me her whole story. And she showed me all her defensive wounds. And we told each other. Yeah, she told me, she said, you're the only one I've ever told my story to. She said, Oprah wanted my story, all the TV. She said, I've never been able to tell my story. And so for 2 weeks, we became friends, and Susan told me her whole story, what happened to her.
Wow. Did her case get reversed? I can't remember.
No, she ended up doing, she just got out. She just got paroled out.
How many years do you think she did? 20 years? Was she given a life sentence?
She was given 20 years. She was given 25. When she went back for the appeal, they dropped it down to 20. So
did she have to do the whole 20?
She did 17 of the 20.
Wow.
And so she just got paroled out here a few months ago. And
have you been in touch with her?
No, I haven't, because I don't think what they're saying is that he's going to give it time because parole doesn't want anybody to be talking to her like, it's on parole. So, but we're going to be in touch.
Give her some love.
Oh, yeah, we're going to be in touch. Yeah, because that was such a great experience. And it's crazy that I get to meet her, and we experienced that and stuff. And so she was there for 2 weeks, and then she pulled a chain, which means she left to go to hobby. And then right after that, that's when I left to go to the other state jail. And so that's where I became a cook and learned how to cook for a lot of people, and that's why I got my catering skills at. Thank you, TDCJ. And so, for real, that's how I learned how to cook for all the people. I do it right now. And so from there, like I say, they told me about, I think I stayed there about a month or so, and they said, hey, you going to Mountain View, and everybody was like, why are you going to a maximum security prison?
And where is that?
Gatesville. So I went to Mountain
View. So that is Gatesville, okay.
Yeah, where the Selena killer was and all the high-profile killers.
And I'm sure at some point through classification, they saw that she was a police officer, and they were going to assign her a place where she wouldn't be exposed to the big populations. And if they sent her to a max, then it wouldn't. Most of it would be what, death row? You said.
Yeah, they were in another building. And then, you know, the people that, like the Celine killer was in another building, but then you had the dormitories in Mountain View. There's just regular population dormitories.
Right.
Are there any men there?
No, it's all female.
I mean, but even like down the street or anything, not in that whole area?
Yeah, there may be a male facility down there, but it was mostly female facility.
I mean, but it could be a situation where they just wanted her to be in a bad situation, though.
High profile. I think they put the high profile.
Because, when you deal with people who have life in prison, they can be a little bit more dangerous just because they don't have anything to live for.
I beg to differ.
Okay.
What you see in prison is the total opposite. The people that do all the clowning and that cause the most disruption are the people that have the less time.
And they're young, too, usually.
Right. So only 5% of the population is violent offenders. 95% of the people that go to prison will eventually get out. So the people that's going to be there a long time, they want to be able to take advantage of going to commissary, going to the library, law library, fight their case. You can't do that if you're clowning.
Got it. I used to deal with a lot of clowns because you know what my population was of my clientele. So I never dealt with the mature people. You know, I always had a lot of young people charged with a lot of crimes. That's why you were my paralegal to go talk to them so you could relate to them because you know what my population was. Yeah. So those ones used to get in trouble a lot.
The wisdom in prison or
because they were young.
The wisdom of the prison and how you should act, convict, comes from those lifers.
Okay, well, let's get back.
And so, but what I found out too is that people that commit crimes like child abuse crimes, like when if your child dies and you were negligent as a mother, those women that were there, they were sent to Hobby, and Hobby is like the worst women's prison in Texas. Hobby is where
you didn't go there.
I didn't go there, thank goodness. And so if you get shipped to Hobby, you know that you're not liked. There's no AC there. People there are doing like aggravated. With a deadly weapon.
Forever.
Yeah, not for like really forever. Like, but with the sentence 20. But what they did was they they don't care. Like you send people over there that you really know probably gonna have to fight. You know what I'm saying? So, I don't like you.
But at Mountain View,
they
had horrible sentences. But
they were more women like. I may
mothers.
have committed a crime at 19. I shot my boyfriend because my husband, he was cheating on me. I made a decision, and it's cost me 26 years of my life. But if you meet these women, you think, what are you doing here? You look so like a grandmother. You look like it's just like women that would never harm a fly. They just made one bad mistake.
So did you have to encounter any violence at Mountain View?
Well, no, I didn't count in violence.
Mountain View?
I was there for 6 months.
And then where'd you go?
Well, from there I went to the Tracie camp. I was there 6 months. I worked in commissary. And so I found out that I was put in commissary was a way to protect me. But they also
Where's Tracie camp?
Tracie camp is in Gatesville. It's down the street from Mountain View.
Okay.
It's down the street. And so I was put there to protect me. And also they had a TDCJ guard that was working in commissary that they felt like was doing things. And they called me in and asked me questions about her, and I told the truth.
She was doing things?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and she got fired.
What was she doing?
She was eating food, acting like the food was damaged, and eating it, doing yeah.
Oh, that's a good one right there.
She was just hungry?
Oh, these cupcakes right here have been open.
She was just hungry. What's wrong with that?
No.
She's stealing people's food?
Yeah. Girl, there's some new stuff. This is what she telling the other inmates. There's some new stuff that came out. It's damaged. Let's taste it. I'm writing notes. And this is before they even asked me. I'm writing notes on her because she felt like it was something about me. She said, I don't know who you are, but it's something about you. That's what she told me. And I said, you're right, Miss I said, you're right. I said, because you don't never know who's in there.
Because eventually the inmate's going to get blamed for it. She'll keep her job.
No. So what I started doing was I used to tear pieces of paper off. We had pencil. We just had to keep logging stuff of the food, and I would write down the time and the date and what she did and what she ate, and it was a coffee pot there, and I slide on the coffee pot. Next day, come to work, do something else again, time and the date and who she did, and I slid on the coffee pot. So when I was sent to the Tracie camp, I got called to the captain's office in the middle of the night asking about this lady, and I said.
So apparently he had gotten complaints about her.
Yeah, I guess they had. Yeah. And they said, we knew that we put you in the right place. And I said, well, if you look under the coffee pot, when you walk in the door to the left, there's a coffee pot over there that does not work. If you raise it up, you'll see all the notes that I took. And them notes was this thick. and she was fired. Yep, I sure will. I took notes every day. Not knowing where to go, I took notes. And so at Mountain View, I left there. But here's the good thing about Mountain View. When I got there, I was put in SEG with some more crazy people again. And so because they didn't have nowhere for me to go. Again, they didn't have nowhere for me to go. So when they finally got me a place, they took me to this dorm and told me to make a left. And there was a bedroom.
What?
They have bedrooms in prison.
Where's prison?
Mountain View.
But everybody didn't get bedrooms.
No.
But you were special.
I walked into a
That's
bedroom.
for the movie star.
I don't
Movie
know.
star
I
prison.
don't know.
Bedroom.
I walked in, nice size room. I walked into the bedroom and I was like, I looked out and the other girls, they was in the dorm area in the front. They all had like 6 cubicles, but there's a bedroom here. So I walk into the bedroom and I look out the window and there's 3 crosses. And I got to tell that story. There are 3 crosses right there when I look. And I visited Mountain View since then because I have a friend down there that I'm praying that somebody can help her. And those 3 crosses they're there, right down the hill. And I said, oh my God. And then when I think about it, everybody said, you know what street this place is on? I was like, no, it says on Ransom Road. And I say that to say that I'm just going to put it like this because I'm a God-fearing person. God is in everything. And I don't care how ugly it is, God is in everything. And so I just knew then, I say, you know, I gotta reflect who I really, I got to be stronger than what I've ever been in my life. And so stayed there, worked the commissary, started Bible study again, and started working on the yard, going outside the prison. We go outside the prison. We go to the warden's house, clean up out on the yard, go down the street, weed eat, go across the street, eat people peaches off their trees. And so we were like really like walking.
We don't have much time, so try to get to
that's funny
point.
though. Yeah, it's funny because nobody said that about it. Like we come back with 30 peaches, come back to the prison. And so from there, finished up doing my thing there, and they said, hey, you're going to the trustee camp, and everybody was like, that's where you're going home soon. So I was at the trustee camp for 2 years over there, and started a workout class. And
so how long were you in prison total?
Total about 4 years.
Wow.
I went 2000, and that's what parole said to me. Why have you been here this long? When parole
4
came,
years. Wow, that's a lot of time.
Yeah, for theft and attempted theft.
How much was the amount that you were?
$168,000.
Okay.
And so they charged me with every dime I worked for. They charged me for even money that I worked for. I mean, and I had my vehicles taken from me. Vehicle that I had bought a year prior. I had bought a vehicle. I had bought a Cadillac Escalade working for the McAvilles and stuff. I had money and working all these extra jobs. And that vehicle was purchased with that money. I was making payments on it, and so once I got my money for working the camps, I paid my vehicle off. They took my vehicle. Yeah. They took the vehicle. Well, but what about the money I paid into it? I know.
They
took my vehicle.
This is a state case, right?
Yeah. They took my vehicle, my mom's vehicle.
She only had a state case.
That's all
what I'm
I had.
saying. They took
that's
pretty aggressive.
But it was paid for, so anything you have, they took.
They took, yeah.
So we have 3 minutes. How would you summarize your experience, and then, when you got out of prison, how you worked your way through sanity?
That's the thing. And let me start right here, so I'm going to try to get you that. My ending up to going to prison, when I was told I was going to be released to go home, the TDC guard said, you got to go to East Dormitory and tell everybody bye, and hug and tell everybody bye. I had to go to East Dormitory and tell those inmates bye. The guards hugged me. As I was going out the door, guards were crying, and we were all crying. One guard put me in her office and said, I'm going to tell you how selfish I was. I asked God to give you 30 more days.
Dang.
Yeah, because me and her had became, we had been talking and stuff, and you really remind me of her, Miss Miller. And so she was such a good lady. And so we both cried together, and I told her, she said, I know there's a way you can get back in touch with us, you better find a way. Because I had a class that working out people. All my friends were losing weight, everybody, the guards would come out and work out with us. So I had a good experience there with those ladies, and I love all of my ladies, and I hope y'all watching. Thank y'all for everything in prison. Thank you for looking out for me. Thank you. And so as I leave prison to go home, I'm coming back to my kids, and I'm not good. I'm disconnected from the world, because the thing that you have to learn in prison is, and I guess Danny can attest to this, that you've got to disconnect from this world. See, there's a whole nother world in prison, and you got to disconnect in order to maintain your sanity. And that's what I did. So now I'm at home. I got to try to reconnect.
Right.
And everybody that I'm meeting that was in my past said, there's something different about you. And I said, I know. I'm working to get back. I'm working to get back into
Right.
trusting.
And this is part of what we've discussed before with one of the guests since we started our series back, is that he feels everybody, when they get out of prison, needs mental help.
They do.
Because you have to create this new mindset in prison to survive, that prison mindset, and then you got to be reacclimated, and you can't just come out and get a job and go back to your home and pick up. You need some mental help. Did you
right.
get that mental help?
I did not, and I'm just recently doing that. I'm seeing a therapist.
How long have
Good
you been
for
out
you.
so far?
I've been out since 2014.
Okay.
And but my family's been my biggest support, and I married my best friend, Mr. Fred Brown, and he's been just everything to me because he won't let me go back to there. He's always encouraging me to move forward, Tracie. That's over with. Let's go forward. You okay? You made it out.
When did you get married?
I got married in 2015.
Oh, just a year afterwards.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, I married my best friend. We've been knowing each other since the 90s. And he was the last person I was on the phone with before I went upstairs and got convicted. And so just a good, we're good. We're friends. We just, that's my heart. And so won't let me down, won't let me go down, keep me
Wow,
up.
that's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, and so we were married the next year.
What do you do today? What do you
Today, I'm doing my nonprofit From Badge to Bars to Purpose. I just started it, and today I'm doing. I want to help kids that have incarcerated parents and loved ones. I want to teach them basketball. I want to go back to my basketball roots because that's what I did. I was
How can
training
people
kids.
reach you?
You can reach me through my email, traciedbell@yahoo.com.
Spell that?
Tracie is Tracie, D as in David, Bell, Bell @yahoo.com, and they can reach me there.
That's awesome.
Yes, and
That
so
is
I'm doing
awesome.
that now, and also I officiate sports, which I love to do. I'm doing that mostly all the time now, but this is my main purpose right here. I want to make sure that the love that I gave the kids back in the day, which I would help them get scholarships, full scholarships to go to college, I want to resume that, and I would like to make sure that the kids that I'm focusing on are kids that have trauma or things in their lives like I had, or have a loved one, a mother or father that's locked up, because I'm here, and I want to be able to show that love and give that love to them and give them a reason to keep fighting.
And now we're being told to wrap up, but I want you to tell me one more thing before you go. How old are your children now?
My son is 22. He's at Seton Hall. He's graduating this December. I'm so proud of him. My daughter is 21. She's a cosmetologist. She has a cosmetologist license. And my youngest son is 19, and he's at Texas Wesleyan University. So all three of them,
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, they made it through.
All right, so thank you so much for listening to Tracie Brown's 3-part story. You can see her part 1 and 2 on YouTube, and we'll have this one on YouTube this weekend. So thank you so much for watching Truth and Justice with Vivian King. I hope you learned something from the Tracie Brown story, from badge to bars to purpose. Good night, and thanks for watching.